How much would you buy a book for? $20? $50? $100? What about $300? Ladies and gentlemen, this book cost me an arm and a leg. Thing is, the title told me to do it, and it's called Do It by Hans Ulrich. Beautiful book. Beautiful leather, beautiful paper, typography, even smells pretty good. The book is still $300. Who in the right mind would take such a decision to buy such an expensive book? Well, for starters, it's not a book that's necessarily linear. It's one of those books where you could open page 20, page 100, or even page 225. It wouldn't matter because everything is essentially an instruction on an exhibition. More about that in a second. The thing is that some pages will give you context while the others will just give you simple visuals. In a lot of cases, these visuals are very questioning and some text is very questioning too. Example, there's just pages with dicks and there's an entire page, or I guess a couple pages, that tells you how to make specific. For the record, I did not buy this knowing this, but here we are. Call it research. So at this point, I haven't actually told you, other than how it feels and how it looks, why this book is worth so much. Well, for starters, this book is a 2013 version called a Compendium, which is not the original copy of 1993, which, by the way, could be in private auction worth at least 10,000 USD, which is, I guess, better than $300 in some cases because it's more valuable. But the point is that this book wanted to break a structure. The simple structure of an artist creates, a museum demonstrates, and we react as the audience. It wanted to do things a little differently. It wanted to be a book where the artists give instructions and us, the participants / the public, create the art and the intuition that we see fit. Which meant that one exhibition will never be the same as the other, as people in the four corners of the world may think a little differently from here and there. A city in Canada, while a city in Mexico might see things in a very different light depending on however they live their lives. Experience matters in this case, and it merges with the artistry of this book. So here, let's do an example together. On page 133 of this book, it says in plain text, watch TV with the sound turned off for 1 hour. All right, let's try it.
Oh, shit. Good tackle. Oh, shit. Oh, not bad, though. Not bad.
I didn't necessarily get more creative by doing this instruction of the TV. If anything, it didn't really do anything. It was more of an experiment which seemed to waste my time. However, something came out of it. Something that is kind of odd. And it's these two words, dual contrast. Because this is the thing. When I was looking online to see what Do It is, and after doing these instructions, I kind of got a feel for what is its physical instructions and then the digital instructions in a sense. Physically, you have the book, which already here feels premium. It has this leather, it has this beautiful smell, everything we already know of. But the thing is, online, this book does not seem to reflect the same reality. It has this kind of feel like it was sloppy marketing strategy, which was kind of cheaping out.
Big bananas don't have to treat little bananas with respect. Little bananas have to treat big bananas with respect.
We interrupt this program with a special message.
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Wait.
Do it.
Definition. Do it. Do it is a call to action. It's the longest running, farthest reaching art exhibition ever. You wonder, how would you ever do it? But that's the fun part.
Very brief history of art by.
I don't know how to feel about this.
For a book that claims that it's reached four corners of the world while multiple museums and hundreds of thousands of people, you have on average maybe just a couple thousand views on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Instagram talking about the book. It doesn't seem to be that popular. This book is to be a niche book, something that just a few would know of. But at the same time, for a book that claims such heavy amount of popularity just at the back of it, you'd think their digital strategy in order to impact the people of the new generation would be somewhat more impactful. You have this book that has quality as its backup for its expense, but then digitally, it feels very different in terms of the quality. It seems more of a thing that is trying to not take itself as seriously. Now, maybe it's by design. It could absolutely be that the creators said, okay, let's do something completely different in order to throw people off. But again, it begs me to come back to the same question. Why would you try to throw someone off, that it's by design purpose or not, when your goal is to change the way art is seen, felt, and understood? It seems counterintuitive. $20 years of this book going around and demonstrating its creativity to the world. And as much as I want to criticize its digital strategy, this book has created creative people. It's given the opportunity to a lot of people to potentially create something that they never thought would be possible. And as much as sometimes we are not given the opportunity to be creative, when we have instruction manuals that gives us the liberty to do things in our own way, it really shows us how impactful this really was. Other than the amount of museum counts and where it's been in the world, it doesn't really have a metric of how many ideas it's created. If anything, that's not something it could control, but that's also its beautiful thing. We live in a world where we think that we have to control everything. We have to control the return on investments. We have to control all the little numbers, the CAC, the CTV, and all these quantified numbers that gives us an idea of how our business is doing. But in reality, what most people want is just to feel heard and to feel like whatever you're pitching to them is also some type of community that they can feel close to. Because we all want community. That's what we live for. We're not the strongest species. We're not the fastest species, but we are the ones that are able to collaborate with a lot of people at the same time, which is why these creative notes, these instructions that this book has given us, has also potentially created multiple ideas indirectly in other fields that these people are doing right now. And what more beautiful than that, than doing something that they think is right? Because who knows? Maybe these people weren't given the opportunity in the past to portray their creativity, to portray something that they truly think could change the world. And this book might just be the gateway for a lot of people to express the things that they never thought would be possible to express.